What if I told you that it's possible to be a professional Valorant player just by sitting in your own spawn? In this video, I want to break down one of the most hilariously effective strategies that I saw while casting the Valorant Champions Tour, and explain why this concept is incredibly powerful in your public matchmaking games.
On the retake by any means, but you're gonna look for a pick, unable to find one as he goes down dazed. Curry.
Oh my god.
This is just... So I'm making this video because I was casting this game during the Valorant Champions Tour Open qualifiers between T1 and a stack of players called Headshot Percentage. The way that T1 played this map was really pretty beautiful to watch, but also hilarious because of one particular player on their team, Curry, the Viper, who was doing some very interesting stuff. So let's go ahead and hop into the very first round. And I just want you guys to take a quick look at where this Viper is on the map. Okay, so this is a pistol round. You can see that there are 4 players here pushing into B site, and there is 1 player in the spawn, okay? And this Viper is going to hold this angle, and it actually just kind of looks like he's AFK. He's just sitting there in the spawn. Nothing is happening. He's not moving. You can see that his player perspective, his vision cone is not moving at all. So right here, we're about to see the Sage get completely destroyed. And obviously she has no idea it's coming because it's a pistol round. Why would anybody be in spawn during a pistol round? If you think about it, the current meta on pistol rounds is basically to just buy 5 frenzies, light armor, and rush a site as quickly as possible and try and kill everybody that's on that site before the rotations can come in. So as the Sage comes out of A, you can see that the Sage is checking common places. We saw that there was a check of maybe somebody over here from Sage. You can see that Sage is checking maybe somebody might be coming from here, somebody might be lurking in this area, but in no way would you ever expect somebody to literally be AFK in the spawn, because who does that? Why would there be a player in spawn on a pistol round where the advantage comes from throwing as many bodies at the site as quickly as possible? So anyway, we're gonna see this Sage get completely caught out by Curry, and obviously he just has no idea what's going on. And now look at what T1 is doing. Okay, so it's pretty clear at this point that Sage was the last person out of A, and I believe they might even have information on at least 3 or 4 of these players on the B site. So you can see that there are now a full rotation towards the A site, expecting there to be nobody there. What T1 is doing here is they are intentionally luring the players out of A with this early pressure, and then they're going to kill the player who comes out of A and kill another person trying to catch them on the cross. And now, once again, they're actually going to then head back to B. So T1 ends up winning that first round as expected, 5 against 3, pretty easy win. And now we're into round number 2. And you would think that, okay, that's kind of an interesting strategy in round number 1, where you can kind of expect people to push through on the pistol round to try and reinforce their teammates at a site. Surely that is the end of the story. But let's take a quick look at where this Viper is heading, okay? So as you can see, the Viper is in spawn still. And this, in my opinion, is an even better sell of this play by T1 than the pistol round, because you can see that they have 3 players over here at A, and they have 1 player over here at B, which is Skadoodle on the Raze. So this seems like a pretty basic default setup from T1. They're looking for information, and they're gonna hit whatever site they figure is going to be the easiest one. That's really what Valorant is all about, is making sure that you have strong positions on the map. They're going to use this Raze basically as a fake, saying that, hey, I'm pushing by myself for information. I am the last person back on my team. And so when Skadoodle falls back here, which he's going to, because you can see he's drawn several players over to the B site, now when he retreats, it's going to make it seem like he was the only player there who was just trying to draw those rotations. And you can see that now the defenders are rotating to A site, which has been attacked by the rest of T1. However, notice that there's still a Viper here. There's still a Viper in the spawn. And this is what makes this so incredibly hilarious. As we pause this right before he kills the Sage once again, is that this seems like it should be the easiest rotation of the Sage's life, because the defenders want to basically bring people in from here and bring people in from here to be able to have two angles to potentially find pickoffs and retake the site. So when you have this Viper lurking here, it completely throws a wrench in that plan from the defenders, and you're going to see once again another shot in the back, another free kill, another flank completely defeated, and another round won for T1. So here we are in round number 4, and once again you can see that Viper is in the spawn. And you can also see that there is a drone checking this angle. The Sova is using a drone. So this is a very early drone, sending it up mid. You can see that Sova is now using utility to check this because the defenders are too scared to push through middle. So let's move on to round number 7. T1 is up 6-0, and sure enough, the Viper is once again in spawn. And this is really where it sold me that this is one of the most important pieces of playing attack in Valorant, period. Religiously making sure that you are watching your flanks. So check this out. We're gonna go ahead and play this, and you're gonna see 3 players. We also see a drone being used. And as we continue to play this forward, we're gonna switch over to Curry's perspective here. And so we've already seen a Sova drone used. Now we are gonna see a breach flash used, okay? And we see 3 defenders making this push out of B because they are so worried about one player. There are 3 defenders here, and they are worried about one singular player. And the only way that they have been able to come up with to combat this situation is to bring numbers to this flank. And what that means is that there are only 2 players holding the A site, which has left it open for 4 T1 players to push in and potentially plant the spike. And you can see that that is exactly what is happening right now. And so not only is a bunch of utility being used, the drone, the flash, 3 players being dedicated to this flank, and you're going to see just an unbelievable amount of information being gained by this Viper, which is going to make the round so incredibly easy for T1. So yes, the Viper does end up dying, but he has also detected 3 players on the flank, which means that the site is completely open. And that means that T1 are free to plant the spike, knowing that all 3 players are coming from behind them. They're going to go for a res. It's going to be another easy round win. Valorant is a game of information, and if you have better information than your opponents, then you can play better than they can in situations. And so what this flank defense does for T1 is it just simplifies their attack. It allows them to not only get picks, but also basically set up perfectly for their post plant and for their takes on the site, because they know that they only have to watch a couple of different angles. The defenders are so afraid of pushing forward that this entire middle area of the map is just off limits to them. They don't want to come through here ever, and they don't want to come through here ever. So all of this map is basically just controlled by T1 by default at this point. So the whole point of this video is basically just to try and break the mentality that you need to take 5 agents to a site together all the time. This is definitely a mentality that is more prevalent in the lower ratings. Basically what you're doing is you're cutting off the reinforcements to the site that the rest of your team is hitting. And so basically what ends up happening is that 4 players will rush a site, and nobody really starts with 5 players at a site. So those 4 players will probably be running at 2 players. Then you end up buying them so much more time to basically take a 4 against 2 or 4 against 3 fight, which should be winnable most of the time just based off of pure math. So the last thing that I want to talk about is sort of what agents should be doing this, because I definitely don't think that you should just be grabbing Arena and then going and sitting in your spawn. That doesn't seem like a very good idea to me, but I think the best case scenario is that you use an agent that can contribute even by not being there at the actual entrance to the site itself. So as we saw there, a Viper is a great example, because on Viper, you can set up that wall and then you can just turn it on globally wherever you are on the map to allow your teammates to have the blocked vision. I think that an agent like Omen is really perfect in this role, because you can basically smoke the entire map globally. And so being able to drop a smoke while also lurking can be super valuable as well. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, and we will see you in another video very soon.